I didn't know this was going to be ASMR, but I guess it
Hi, my name is William, and you're watching the Media Masters podcast. Welcome to episode 2. I'm here with Gabriel Butel today.
Howdy.
Today, we're going to tell you a little bit about who we are, what we like to do, and what we're going to be talking about on the podcast. So, let's begin.
All right. Who's first? Me or you?
I guess I can chat first, because we're currently in my studio.
Exactly.
I guess,
That's what I was thinking. I was going to let you go ahead first.
Well, open up your Dr. Pepper and get started on that, and then we can... Then we can get started.
ASMR.
So, as I said, my name is William Hamilton. I'm the owner of the Hamilton YouTube channel. I'm also the owner of Hamilton Studios LLC. It's the current studio that we're in right now, believe it or not. To preface this, before we go any further, you can kind of see our backdrop. Looks really cool, right? But it doesn't really cover the whole framing of the podcast. So yet
Keyword yet.
Because we're missing 2 pieces. We just finished these up today.
We just put these here literally like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. So there will be a whole set built very soon, but as of right now, this is what you get. But
I think it's gonna look awesome.
It's gonna look really cool. I really like the dark mahogany. So my name is William Hamilton. I am 19 years old. And I'm a filmmaker, photographer, and audio technician. I like to do everything media, which is kind of where we get the Media Masters ideas. We're going to try to, show our journey as well as help people who are just beginning, because we've had a lot of help, and YouTube's a really cool way to share what you know. And it's a really cool way, while you're teaching, it's really easy to learn.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things we want to do best is we want to learn how to become better podcasters. We want to learn how to become better photographers and videographers and directors and gaffers.
Grips,
every details. Yeah.
Everything.
We want to, so when we're teaching, we're learning as well. And when we have to teach about a specific subject and do more research into it, the idea of it is that we're going to learn more about it ourselves. So that's why we're making the podcast and the videos. These podcasts are going to try to talk about different areas of media, like storytelling and streaming and music. So
YouTube, aerial stuff with drones. We're just diving in. We're gonna
everything.
Everything that we can think of.
So I got into filmmaking because of the guy sitting across from me. Believe it or not.
It's a fun story.
I got in because I wanted to make a YouTube video, and we wanted to start a YouTube channel.
We both. So at this time, I was into YouTube big. I had recently started a gaming channel, and I was showing him around, showing how I did stuff. And we're like, hey, we both like technology. Let's go jump into YouTube and try to make our own technology channel. Now, at the time, we didn't exactly have gear at all. And this is before phone cameras were really good, and we just kind of jumped in and kind of went in over our heads, didn't really know what to do.
And Gabe knew way more than I did, so he literally did all of the video editing and all the planning and all the lighting set up and all the cameras set up and everything
on my already old MacBook Pro that was just the base model out of the storage. I remember we sat there for probably 6 hours after we shot our first video.
It was how to make music on a computer as a beginner.
So we shot it one day, tried to edit it. It literally took us the entire day, and it was 3-4 minutes.
No, I think the video was a super long monologue of me just talking for 11 minutes, actually. I just tried to watch it the other day, and it was so bad.
Man.
What I was saying was wrong, and everything about that video was so bad. It's so funny.
Yeah.
So.
It had a few problems, but we had so much fun shooting that we're we have to do more of
and
this.
And so, basically, when that happened, I was like, man, this is just the most fun thing ever. And so by the time the next year came along, my birthday, I was like, hey, Mom and Dad. I was 14, 15, maybe 15 when I first got my camera. And I asked for a camera. And they got me the Canon M50
Right
and
there.
Mark 1, of course. And that's what we're shooting on still today, though I upgraded and used different cameras and I rent gear. But it's a great little guy, and that's what I started with. And I think that just opened up a whole new world for me. And that's where I got my start in photography and videography, and I've been shooting friends, family, and gotten into a lot of wedding filmmaking recently. That's kind of been my main source of income, as well as opening up this physical studio for Gabe and I, and mostly my business, but Gabe can come in and shoot whenever he wants, and to shoot like professional headshots, product gear, podcasts, of course, podcasts. That's what we're really excited for.
That's the main.
So it's just exciting to be where I am from where we started just 4 or 5 years ago.
Long ago, yeah.
Well, that's my basic filmmaking story. There's a whole lot to who I am, more than just that. But as far as how I got started filmmaking and how you see us here today, well, I guess I should say one more thing. I actually did get started way before filmmaking in the media world with music production.
Oh yeah, we can't forget about that. That's
I write music, produce a lot of music, or I used to really, and that's how I got started in the media, because I was just kind of gifted at the piano and singing and being a part of a choir. And my dad got me a microphone when I was like 10 and started recording music on the computer. And so when Gabe and I first started a YouTube channel, the first videos were all about music stuff and music technology, and that's why we have these microphones and lots of the different tools that I have to record stuff with, is because I started out in music.
Yeah, and that the funny thing about that beginning channel was it was gonna be both mine and his, and so we're just like, okay, let's start with this audio stuff, and it just sort of became like Will's thing, because Will is very gifted at writing and talking, and also music stuff. So I'm like, hey, you're way better on camera than I am. Let's just shoot your stuff first. So then we would, and then eventually it was like, oh, I have to make a video? And then I was like, I'll stick to gaming. And then that channel kind of died. But it kind of has always been something on our mind, and we always wanted to continue making videos, just we wanted to wait. It's
evolved though, the idea
until a point where we actually knew what we were doing.
And that's kind of where we feel like we are now, with the amount of gear that we have and the experiences that we've had. So that's why we're getting started today.
Exactly.
Oh man, I inhaled that Capri Sun, man. But yeah, I mean that channel kind of turned in. I mean, we went through several different iterations of naming, and
lots.
Yeah, Gabe never made a video on it, but I made some other ones by myself.
To be fair, I took some of your music and then added a audio visualizer to it in After Effects, and then posted that.
Yeah, that was his post. He also helped produce like 2 or 3 of the other videos on there, and then the other ones were just me not knowing what I was doing and just setting up a camera and talking for 12 minutes.
Yeah, he like posted something like, whoa, you posted
I have like a 12-minute video. Okay, no, I have like 2 or 3 12-minute videos of me just talking about something. One was like talking about bezel-less phones back in 2017.
Yeah.
And then the other one was talking about like a portable audio recorder, the Tascam DR40, which I still have, I still love that thing. No, one of the ports is broken on it, but I still love that thing. It was really cool. It's just kind of funny, like just looking back and thinking about the things that I thought was amazing and how that video is honestly so lame now. Like it's so bad.
If we compare it to now, it's like, but it was so much fun to do.
Okay, so Gabe, all
right. Well,
tell us a little bit more about you.
I guess I'll take the floor. So, what you're seeing now is my Fuji X-T3. Now, this is my camera that I've had for a while, and I'll get in.
Inspired that purchase.
Yeah, he did. I will admit that.
I researched it.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll start at the very beginning and get into why I have this camera now, why I still love it today. So, back when I was very young, I mean, I can't even remember a time where I was not into Legos. So I have always loved Legos. And I know that doesn't really sound like it has anything to do with filmmaking and photography, but that's what really got me into all of this. So back when I was younger, I would always try to make the coolest Lego sets, the coolest everything. And if I was going to buy a set, I wanted to see how that set, compared to other sets. Like what was the value in that set that made me want to buy that over a different set? So I would go to YouTube and I would watch these channels that would review Lego sets. And then there's some other channels that would make those Legos come to life. It's called Lego Stop Motion Animation. Now, if you're watching this now and you've been on YouTube more than 5 years, you've definitely seen some Lego Stop Motion Animation. And back when I was doing that was a long time ago, back when Lego Stop Motion Animation was more popular than Minecraft channels. So I decided to create my own. So I got into it and started.
With an iPod, right?
With an iPod 4. Just iPod Touch 4th generation. The resolution was not there. It was like sub 480p. Like,
it was probably like 2 megapixels or something.
Something that you can barely tell what's going on. But that's what I started with. So I really found out that I had a joy for creating videos. But with Lego Stop Motion, if you've ever done it, you know that it takes so long to do.
Any sort of stop
just
motion
a couple
really
seconds.
takes forever.
It takes so long. And the fancier you get, the higher your production value. It increases that time tenfold. And as I got into that, I started creating, more, better, longer, whatever. And eventually I got into After Effects because for Lego Star Wars, you have lightsabers and blasters. And if you want to do that on mobile, like I was doing, I had an iPhone 6 at the time. You can do that on mobile, but it doesn't look very good. So I'm like, hey, Mom, I need to make better Lego videos. She's like, I know you love to make better Lego videos. I'll get you an Adobe subscription. So I got a subscription to Adobe from my mom where I could use After Effects. And that's what really got me into live action more, is just After Effects and all the possibilities there. And then I eventually bought a camera right before I got After Effects. So that I got that for Christmas so that I could take a macro lens so I could take pictures of Legos, basically. So I could make those stop motion animations. And that kind of opened the possibilities, and it just kind of went on from there until eventually I got into live action. I eventually shot a couple weddings without much of a heads up.
Camcorder.
Yeah, I had a camcorder for my first one. I don't know whose camcorder it was. Somebody just gave me a camcorder. Really? Like, hey, you like videos? Go take a video of this wedding. And I remember as the groom was walking down the aisle, he did a double take. He's like, huh? What? Because he didn't know anyone was going to video his wedding. He just saw that there. And
what a wedding videographer, man.
I know.
That's cool, like, I was 14-year-old little kid.
I was literally standing.
You should have seen him at 14.
I was like this tall. Anyway, I was standing in a tree. Like, actually just in a tree. My feet were covered in vines. Just taking a video. And, just kind of spiraled from there. And eventually, I was going to buy a better camera. Because at the time, the camera that I got for Christmas, the Rebel T6, was great for photos, but not for video. And so I was talking with Will. This is right about the time where we started our G-Dubs Tech. And
well, it started out as Willet Tech.
Willet Tech.
And then it switched to G-Dubs Tech, which stands for Gabe and Will's Workshop of Technology.
Pretty cool name, if you ask me. But
better than what we have now, honestly.
Yeah, so we wanted to shoot some more videos. I'm like, hey, I need to get a better video camera. So I was looking around. I really like the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K.
Which is an amazing camera.
Great camera, and honestly, I'd still love to have one today. But it's not as versatile as something like the XT3.
Yeah, aren't you so glad you got a photo camera, too? Like,
I am.
Imagine not being able to shoot photos because you got the Blackmagic camera. Like, you would have had to buy another camera. And now Gabe shoots so many photos now.
That's actually
more photos than video.
I do. I shoot way more photos. Like, that's probably a decent amount of my income. I wouldn't say it's main. It's probably 50-50, but I do a lot more photos. I think I bumped something.
Okay. I was like, what the heck?
My hands are going
shaking.
crazy. But yeah, so yeah, it's gone crazy. Once I got my XT3, I really just started, doing all sorts of different things: photography, videography, weddings, whatever. We started working together with a lot of stuff. So I guess we want to kind of move on into working together, or what are the notes? What are the notes saying?
Well, we can talk about really whatever. I mean, we're still just telling our story.
Yeah.
And at this point in our individual stories. They're so connected. I mean, they're already so
Basically,
connected.
half of our gear is the exact same.
Literally,
Like,
we buy the same things. Like, we're lit by the same base light right now. His softbox is like a foot bigger than mine.
Mine's bigger.
It's all, well, the light's not, but the softbox is way bigger. He's also got a real like C-stand.
An actual, yeah. So my light will not fall on us like his. I'm worried his is gonna fall on me.
I don't even have a real C-stand for my light right now, and it's like.
If I breathe too hard, it will fall on me.
Oh man. So, yeah, we started, I don't know, 2 years ago. I had the opportunity to shoot a wedding for an older couple in my church.
Gary and Linda.
And they're so cute. I will not drop the link to the video in the description because I don't want you to watch it so bad. But very cute couple, and they didn't have a huge budget. And for some reason, I used 100% of the budget, except for like $50 to Gabe. But I used 100% of the budget to rent C100s, Canon C100. So I've shot with, at this point, I've shot with an M50 for like a year, right? Like only a year.
About so.
Gabe, you probably didn't even have your. He did have your XT3. He did have his XT3 at this point.
I had it for maybe 4 months.
Yeah, a few months at that point because it was in April, so you got it.
Yeah, I got it in November.
Yeah, so 4 or 5 months, and so we rented two C100s and these massive Sigma 50 to 100 1.8s. Like they're like this big of a lens, like as big as my face. And for some reason, I don't know why I did this, but it was just fun, and I wanted to rent. Like I didn't even rent a 4K camera, but I rented the C100, and they didn't look. Honestly, we didn't know what we were doing, so they didn't look great. But it was just a fun experience. Still used some of the photos that we took when we were like holding them, just because it looks cool.
Yeah. We have so many cool photos, and it was so much fun just to use them, even though we didn't have anything to use them on besides the actual wedding.
So, yeah,
we just screwed around with it, but they were so much fun.
And so, like, that was just another like catalyst where I wasn't really even fully into like I'm going to be a full-time filmmaker someday. But it's like renting those cameras and making stupid YouTube videos and filming a wedding that ended up not looking great, even though it looked great for what I was able to do back then.
At the time.
And they were so pleased with it. Like, don't get me wrong, but like compared to what I can do now on a $500 camera is crazy. So, but it's just like renting that camera and having that experience of like, wow, this is a movie camera. And just like, man, I love this. And that's when I was like, I gotta do this.
We posted pictures of us with those cameras, and the way that people reacted to us with those cameras was like magical. They're just like, whoa, that's insane.
Basically, if you can go out and take photos with a cinema camera, do it, because
you get so much credibility.
Your production value is gonna go up.
People will see that and they're just like, whoa, this guy's legit.
Yeah, that's why I include that. That's why I included a couple of those photos in the intro to my videos.
Yeah.
With cinema cameras.
Shh, don't tell them too much.
Yeah, we don't actually shoot on cinema cameras.
Not usually. Although technically the
XT3 it's a photo camera.
Is a hybrid of everything.
It's not a cinema camera though. It cannot be defined as a cinema camera. No cinema cameras are 24.
It has been used as a cinema camera when it was new.
Well, an iPhone has been used as a cinema camera.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Our process there went from doing weddings for free, basically free, to taking photos for free, to taking photos for $10, to taking photos for $50, to taking photos for $300. It's just like this
for
huge.
Yourself.
A lot of growth.
So much growth.
We both also had the opportunity to join this mentorship program by Parker Walbeck. And I've actually gotten so many jobs from that program. So 100% recommend that. And I'll definitely leave a link to the description and probably a discount to it as well. I think we have access to discounts with that.
We do, yeah.
The idea of that is like the most important thing about full-time filmmaker for us was not the course, though the course was great and I learned a lot. I still haven't watched all of it, but... It's the community that was like given, because there's over like 15,000 members in it, and Gabe and I joined that like 3 years ago or 2 years ago, and we joined when there was like 1,000 members.
Yeah, basically like just 1,000, which at the time we thought was a ton of people.
Yeah, we're like, oh my gosh, I get to connect with 1,000 filmmakers across the United States and the world. And
it's just grown so much, and there's a really good reason for it because there's so much good information there. And
yeah, I mean, just brilliant people. Yeah. Like, I got to shoot a really cool wedding in Colorado with a guy, and this filmmaker makes like $80,000 in a month. Like, and he's just fantastic and does all sorts of things: films high-dollar weddings, films production work. And I never would have got that opportunity had I not taken the leap and spent that initial investment on Full-Time Filmmaker, which I have easily made back since then because of Full-Time Filmmaker. And I have a job coming up this week because of Full-Time Filmmaker. And you know, just that's just one cool thing that Gabe and I did together. Well, one thing that we've learned is you have to invest in yourself before you can start seeing profit. If you never take the leap to investment, you're never going to get anywhere.
And that's why we went from doing things for free without gear because we didn't have any gear. Then all of a sudden, you know, we do just a couple things for free, and then people are like, hey, I'll pay you a little bit, come and do this. It just builds and builds and builds. If you don't ever invest, it's not going to build because your quality won't increase. So it's just a huge thing to actually take the leap. Like, if you're going to actually go out and do this, you have to spend a little bit of money here and there.
Yeah. People are always telling you, I'm sure you've heard, that you need to invest like in the market, in the Roth IRA. This is the same type of investments. It's shorter term, though. Your return's going to be greater in the short term rather than the long term. But it's a very, very important investment that you need to make. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck. So whatever industry you are in, even if it's not filmmaking, even if it's photography or graphic design, I already said photography, audio production. I mean, like, if you're in graphic design, buy that, tablet that you need to buy to be able to draw the things and create the things that you need to do. If you're in music, buy that Neumann microphone. I mean, that's an $800 microphone, but it's worth it. Like, it's really awesome. Yeah. And, I mean, a lot of people will tell you that gear doesn't matter. And to an extent, like, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. I mean,
there's
you can
only
make something
so
amazing.
far you can go with something.
Exactly.
Our channel is all about getting the most out of what you have. Mm-hmm. And you'll see we're releasing a video this week. It might already be out about iPhone photography or mobile phone photography. And you can create some awesome images with that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've had images that have went to the state fair, like that have done well enough in an actual photography competition to go to the state fair just with my iPhone.
Well, I booked more photography jobs from my iPhone photos than I have from my real photos. It's like you can do a lot with what you have.
Oh yeah.
But there is a limitation at some point.
Yeah.
And if you're only shooting in 720p on a Canon T2i, you're not going to get a $10,000 client.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the fact.
You have to
invest in lighting and audio.
Yeah, you have to know what your value is, because with whatever gear you have, there is a ceiling. And basically what your goal is to do the best with what you have and then increase that ceiling more and more with getting better gear. So it's perfectly fine to start out with an iPhone, just shooting, with the camera app. Like,
for your mom.
That's good. The first step there is just getting an app like Filmic Pro and just $15.
$15. By the way, I just bought it today.
No, I've been an investor since it was less than $5 back in the day. I'm a true believer in that.
Shut up.
But anyway, you have to make those steps if you actually want to improve. So.
It gives you a little taste about who we are and what we are doing and what we're going to be talking about, and hopefully teaching about a little bit. It's really more of we're inviting you to come on a road of discovery with us. That sounds a little cheesy, but like it's true.
Yeah.
We know a lot, honestly, but we don't know a lot. And the more you know you don't know.
Yep.
And the more you're going to learn. And as it soon will be to be always, thanks for joining us today. We're happy to have you. My name is William Hamilton.
I'm Gabriel Butel.
And we're hoping to see you guys again next week for our podcast, The Rise of Streaming with Kylie Highland. bye.